Chris Martyniuk from Hulbert's. This is honestly, and it's no secret here, my most favorite segment of the show. We get to roll up our sleeves and get to work in the kitchen.
Get to get dirty. Yeah.
And you are going to share with us some of your Sunday brunch secrets, but not too intimidating for anybody to maybe pull off at home.
You know what? It's fresh products and bringing them together and having fun when you're cooking with your friends and your family on a Sunday morning, or coming out to the restaurant, of course, if you don't feel like doing that at home.
Of course, and we're going to talk about a few reasons why people should definitely come check out your restaurant. One aspect of your Sunday brunch that I absolutely love, that may be the only one in the city. We're going to touch on that in a bit, but why don't I let you take it away for right now, and let's get this stuff started.
Well, we're going to be making some baked hash browns.
Okay.
We're going to be making some maple sausage omelets, which are a favorite at our brunch, and we're also going to be making some fruit crepes.
Awesome.
So what we're doing in the first segment here is just a little bit of preparation. I've got these fantastic baby finger potatoes. They're not made from baby fingers, but they're called finger potatoes, and they're the baby ones. Fingerling or banana potatoes are also called. And basically, you know, I get these from an organic farmer. This time of year, it's hard to get the baby potatoes because they're in short supply, but they're absolutely delicious. And all I'm going to do is just chop up some of these really coarsely like that.
You know, it seems like there's more and more options out there, even when it comes to, say, starches, carbs, whatever you want to refer to them. But even the potato market specifically, it's unbelievable what's becoming available. It's not just red or gold anymore. That's right.
There's a lot of the sort of heirloom varieties that are starting to become more popular, especially as the organic and the more independent farmers come online to produce. They're able to do these smaller varieties, and they're able to find markets for what they produce. So.
Now, I suppose, obviously, you want to make these sort of bite-sized, but at the same time, are you dicing them up so they'll cook faster? Is that part of the
Yeah, you don't want them to be too thick because they are going to be baking, and you want them to get a bit of a crisp on the outside but cooked all the way through. So basically, you know, 3/4 inch. And I use extra virgin olive oil. I like the flavor. It's healthy. And basically, all we're going to do is we're just going to toss up these potatoes here. Really simple. One bowl. And I'm going to just put some spice on here. You can take whatever you've got in the counter and whatever strikes your fancy, but I'm going to make a bit of a Cajun. We've got some chili powder there. I'm going to do some garlic powder. Now, normally I don't like using these garlic granules, but you know, when you're trying to spread it on here and you're trying to do it quick in the morning.
You mean as opposed to sort of freshly minced or diced?
You got it.
Right. Yeah. Now, really, I would imagine that this is a chance for people to let their own taste come through, whether it's like rosemary or oregano or something that they really like the taste of.
Fresh herbs in here is fantastic. Rosemary, thyme, the more robust herbs that really stand up to the heat.
Awesome. So we've got some green onions in there now.
Green onions, and boom, throw them on a platter like that. And
so you don't always have to bake on tin foil either, is it?
No, it depends how much you want to scrub afterwards. But because
you can tell I'm a lazy man, hey?
Put tin foil down, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. But because I've got the olive oil on there, and I've got a guy working in the dish pit there who can wash for me, I think that'll be you after the segment.
Awesome. So this is into the oven?
Into the oven,
okay.
375. Check it after about 20 minutes. You want them to be cooked through, but you don't want them to be burnt or too crispy on the outside.
How do potatoes do once you cut them open? For example, if you wanted to, you know, see you have company coming for the weekend, you want to prep some hash browns before. Will they do okay cut in the fridge?
You know, put them in water.
Okay.
Leave them in water, and the water will keep them from turning color.
So you wouldn't want to toss them in the olive oil and add the herbs beforehand?
You could do that. It would infuse a bit more flavor into the potatoes, but I find that you're going to have a better finished product if you just do it, if you prep it fresh. And it's so easy. I mean, you just throw it together. You just say, excuse me, I'll be back in 5 minutes. So just run to the kitchen and when you're entertaining and get them ready.
And you get to top up your mimosa at the same time.
You got it. Yeah, nothing beats a little bit of champagne and orange juice first thing on a Sunday morning. But really, brunch is about getting together with your friends and having a good time and chatting and just sort of chilling and reflecting on the week, and a little bit of champagne is a great way to top it off.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about what you're doing next here in just a minute, as well as how brunch and champagne tie in together at your place of work, of course, Hulbert's. In the meantime, we're going to go back to Bridget.
Let's stay inside and get back to the kitchen with Ryan Jesperson.
Thanks, Michelle. Back, as you said, in the kitchen with Chris Martyniuk from Hulbert's. Chris, we've got our hash browns baking in the oven.
Yep.
Where are we at right now?
Well, I'm going to start an omelet here. And we're going to make this with some maple sausage. So what I'm going to do is just basically melt some butter. I'm going to saute a little bit of vegetables in here. And I've got some maple sausage, which I've pre-cooked.
Now, do you cook it all the way through, or do you want to like leave a little room for it to still cook with the other stuff?
I prefer it to be fully cooked when I put it into the saute, because although it will continue cooking, I want to make sure that it's fully cooked through, just for food safety. Yeah. So I'm going to cook those sausages all the way through before I put them on. So we're just going to saute that up a little bit here. In the meantime, I've got 2 eggs. I'm a fan of variety in small portions, so I like to do a 2-egg omelet.
Okay.
Some places will do a 6-egg omelet, but boy, that's just too much egg. So I'd rather save some room for some crepes, which we're going to be doing in the next last segment here.
Plus, I don't want to be the guy that has to try to flip over a 6-egg omelet with eyes watching me.
You got a huge... that's
not
a
chance. You need a shovel.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what I've got is the 2 eggs there. I put some salt and pepper in there. I'm going to put a little bit of cream.
Okay.
I'm not going to beat this too much. I don't want a lot of air in there. I'm just basically looking to break up the egg.
What is it that the cream does? I've seen some people add milk to their eggs. Even some people add a little water.
It makes the omelet a little bit fluffier because it gives some moisture, which steams it from within.
Okay.
It adds a bit of fat, which gives a little bit of structure to the egg. And
any cream that works better than others?
You can use 2% milk. I just use half and half cream.
Half and half.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And now here's the key to a good omelet. You see how it's starting to cook around the edge?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you want to do is you want to pull that cooked portion towards the center of your pan, and while you let the uncooked egg circulate around to the outside.
See, it's kind of funny, like, as a novice, but somebody who certainly enjoys cooking and enjoys omelets, trust me, you panic that you're going to maybe sort of disrupt the form of the omelet by folding the egg over like that and bringing it all to the middle.
It's what gives the omelet its lightness and fluffiness, is creating those ruffles and pulling that in addition to the egg just cooking through and getting the sort of foamy structure that the egg gets as well, the lightness that comes from that.
My classic move is just to turn it into a scramble halfway through.
Yeah, people get frustrated. I know it's a common thing, but you know what? If you have a nice non-stick pan and you've got a little bit of butter in there, I'm just using a small pat, so it's not a lot of fat that I'm adding to that, but it really does make a difference.
Sometimes there's no substitute for butter, I don't think.
Everything's better with butter, that's how I say.
Absolutely.
So we're just going to let that cook through until there's no more gloss left on there.
What type of heat are you doing that on, Chris?
This is medium-high heat. Okay. And you don't want it to be too hot because you're going to burn the eggs. You don't want it to be too low because you want them to cook fairly, fast enough so that they do build up a little bit. And there's still a little bit of uncooked egg on there, but I'm going to go ahead and put this cheese on here. And I'm going to loosen up the egg.
So you've got cheddar, and is that mozzarella?
I've got cheddar, and that's an Emmental Swiss cheese. Yeah, that's
Swiss cheese without the holes.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it depends on how you catch it in the block, right? Sometimes when you're slicing it, sometimes you get the holes, sometimes you don't.
Fabulous.
And now I'm going to do the flip here, which is, I'm going to live TV, of course, right?
You can always turn it into a scramble.
You could.
It works for me. Chris, we have got another treat in store, of course. We referenced it earlier. We've got some raspberries here, some blueberries. We're going to get going on those crepes in just a minute. I can smell the potatoes cooking. That omelet looks fabulous. In the meantime, have you ever wanted to get a picture with your pet and Santa? Now, Chris Martyniuk, not to put too much pressure on your shoulders, but you are about to work some magic over the next 4 minutes. What are we about to embark on here?
We're going to make some crepes. And I've got some crepe batter that I've made up. The recipe will be on the website. And we're going to also make some fruit berry filling for that. I'm going to prepare that. I need a little bit more batter in here.
I think crepes are something, at least my gut tells me, and I sure know that none of my friends make them. They can be kind of intimidating, but they don't have to be.
No, big non-stick pan. The right batter. Let your batter sit overnight, and you'll find that you'll have flawless crepes.
I think anything with a French name kind of scares some people off.
Yeah, it's the technique, and you'll see as I'm cooking it here, it actually is quite simple. I mean, a crepe is basically just a really thin pancake. You want a thin batter. You want to get it nice and thin. The flip can be a bit intimidating, but if you've got a good spatula and a non-stick pan.
Are we operating at about the same temperature, medium-high, that we were with the...
medium-high with the omelet. So if you've got a regular coil-top stove, it's pretty easy because you basically can just set it and do all of your dishes that we're doing today at that same temperature.
Of course, in Edmonton, just about to jump into December, these berries are obviously from frozen, but they just look great. People shouldn't be scared off by frozen fruit thinking that it's not going to taste the same or taste any good.
No, I mean, when you put it into a sauce like this, I'm putting a little bit of butter and some sugar in here. You know, so long as you're buying it from a grocery store which hasn't been sitting for a year, you
right.
know. The best is if you buy your own fruit when it's in Bounty and freeze it yourself. A lot of us have deep freezes, and it's so easy. You just put it, you know, on a thin layer on a sheet, freeze it, and then put it into a Ziploc bag.
Great. Now, Chris, we're just going to let you work here for a second, but I just want to talk about Hulbert's and some of the things you guys are doing. I'm not sure if everybody knows, but you were telling me you have a background in IT, and what drove you into the restaurant business was just wanting to see, or you saw an opening, you saw a void maybe for a neighborhood cafe. Yeah,
we saw a vacancy in our neighborhood, and I was doing independent contracting at home, and I really wanted a place in the neighborhood that I could get out, do some work, see other people, basically to see the sunshine once in a while. And as the project took off, the train left the station, and we've been on it ever since, and we've been loving it. It's just been a lot of fun. We have a strong connection to the community. We have connections to the live music community with our live music program. We have live music every night that we're open.
And yeah, let's touch on that for a second. Singer-songwriters on Thursday. You were saying jazz on Fridays, funk and R&B on Saturdays.
Yeah, pop mix. Yeah.
And then, as we alluded to, your champagne brunch on Sunday. You also have live jazz there.
We have live jazz. Brett Miles comes and he plays saxophone with a little beatbox. We call it Jazz and Beats. Absolutely fantastic. A lot of fun. Gets a really nice energy to the brunch. And then we top off the week with, we end it with a fantastic open mic on Sunday nights. 3 hours of live music, dozens of performers, professional artists. It's hosted by CKUA's Rhea March.
Awesome.
And just a ton of fun.
Perfect. Well, let's take a look at the info board that we have prepared. For more information on Hulbert's, you can check out hulberts.ca. You can also give a shout out to 436-1161 if you'd like specific information. Inviting in now Wendy and Michelle. Michelle, what is this?
This is proudly showing off with Paul Meunier. City TV's own Paul Meunier. Won this morning at the Cornflake... what is it called? The Cornflake Breakfast on behalf of Youth Emergency Shelter and Society fundraiser.
Awesome.
Paul won it in a match game show.
Very cool.
Congratulations. Right?
Very cool. Ladies, talking about fantastic. Look at this blueberry raspberry crepe. And honestly, I mean, we know that you're a pro, Chris, but you whipped this up together in just a few minutes. With a bit of practice, this is something that people can pull off.
That's right. And here, I'll just put the crowning touch on here. This is the
whipped
wow
cream.
Factor.
That's a way to start a weekend. We'll see you bright and early back here Monday morning, 6 o'clock.
Kiss.